My name is Igor Zaks. I'm president of Tenzor. And this is a part of the interviews ahead of RFIC that will be 26th and 27th of May in London. That's a major receivables finance conference. And one of the panels we are featuring will be related to credit insurance. And I'm really welcome now Anil, who is a board member and the chief commercial officer of what's now Allianz Trade, was Euler Hermes until very recently. Welcome, Anil.
Thank you, Igor. Yes, very, very recently we changed. So thank you for spotting that new update.
So let's start with this if we already started. So what is in the name? Why the change and why now?
Yeah, well, as you know, I mean, Euler Hermes were purchased by Allianz many years ago. And I must admit, it's something I think has probably taken too long before we became a full-fledged member of the Allianz family. So I'm really delighted that we're part of Allianz now, and we're called Allianz Trade. For me, it means so much from a business point of view, but I actually think more from a recruitment point of view. And, you know, I generally think when you're looking to recruit talent, the name Allianz really resounds well with people we look to recruit. You know, I even know from personal experiences, if I said to my younger son, would you like an Allianz logo t-shirt or a Euler Hermes? He always goes for the Allianz. So I think it's
a cool logo.
Exactly. I think that, particularly with us sponsoring the Olympics, we have the next 8 years of the Olympics. So now we have the Allianz with the Olympic logo. But more important for that, I think when you're recruiting people, when they know they're coming into the Allianz family, they see much more opportunities and much more career opportunities. So it's easier to attract talent. And so I'm really pleased that we're using the Allianz brand name.
Sounds great. And another relatively recent, although not that recent now change, is your new sort of role, because obviously, I mean, I've known you for well over 20 years and all the different roles you had in Euler Hermes, that is not even Euler Hermes, but now you get this board role and the chief commercial officer. So what are your main priorities? What are the core areas of business you are focusing on?
Yeah, look, when I joined the board back in June, we were coming out of the pandemic, and although it was a bit patchy, you know, the first priority that we had as a board was to really capture this, what I call upswing in growth, capture the upswing in sales that was coming out of the pandemic. And we put together a strategy which was basically increasing our risk stance, increasing our commercial flexibility, and really capturing that growth. And we've been really successful. I mean, Q1 numbers are looking good in terms of our new production. Our retention rate is pretty much an all-time high. So we're really pleased on that side of it. What's interesting is probably in the last 3 weeks, we now have the Russia crisis, the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And there's been an enormous effort from Allianz side on the employee engagement side. We have teams there, but also as an organization, I'm proud that, you know, Allianz have donated over 10 million euros of funds. And even we at Allianz Trade, our employees have generated a significant sum as well that Allianz has matched. So I think looking at the people side, that's really impacted our organization. But then also, I move on to the trade side. I think we're going to see a significant impact in the short term as supply chain gets hit. As we see customers move away from trading in Russia, we have to deal with that impact as well. So I think there's the direct impact and then the indirect impact. Again, we're going to see inflation back to all-time high, and how's that going to have an impact on our business in terms of insolvencies? And we're already forecasting GDP will be down. I think it's about 0.8, so we see it being around about 3.3%. And we do see with inflation, there is going to be an increase in insolvencies for the first time in 2 years. So we see an increase in insolvencies, around about 4% increase. But we'll see how that goes depending on how the war crisis develops over the coming months.
Yeah. And we seem to have like almost a perfect storm, because we are only out of the COVID crisis, or I don't know how much out we are. And now we get, you know, an event that haven't happened for last 70 years in terms of major war within Europe. So obviously should be a lot of challenges and maybe even some opportunities, you know, given the massive distortion to the markets and everything that both of these events created.
I don't know. When I look back at my career, I joined as that time it was Trade Indemnity, right in the middle of the global financial crisis. I then remember I moved to Dubai, and we had at the time, I don't even remember, the Dubai crisis. I was then fortunate enough to move to Asia, and some people say at that time we had the Asia-China crisis, and then I moved to Paris some 4 or 5 years ago, and now we've had the pandemic and this current crisis. So I don't know, I always thought a crisis should be every 10 years, but it seems to be happening much, much more often. Maybe the crisis is following me, or I'm following the crisis. I'm not really sure, but it keeps us busy and engaged, and yeah, it's a strange. We didn't think it would happen so quick.
I mean, one of the first experiences we interacted was .com crisis when around 2000, when
Exactly.
I was in a major technology company, and you were our insurer, and we have to navigate through a very much changing landscape within the industry.
Exactly. So I think it's I think, as you say, it's much more. It seems to be becoming much more. And if I think there's going to be another 10 years, I think I'll be kidding myself and you as well. I think it seems as though we are, constantly navigating crises within our business. But I think that's what we're there for as an industry. That's what we're there for our customers. So I definitely think it keeps us in the news and keeps us engaged with our clients and partners.
Of course, we all understand the risk and the downside that the crises have. Do you see it also as opportunity? Do you see it as something that by having a smart business strategy and adjusting, one can get good results in terms of the business?
Yeah, and I think just to go back to our strategy was to capture the upswing in trade, and we felt that coming out of the crisis as the strongest and engaging with our customers, and even personally, I mean, I've been fortunate enough while I've been on the board to also go out to many, many countries. I've been to Italy, Spain, US, UK, Germany, even the Middle East, and getting out there, engaging with our clients early to help them navigate and as I said, really capture the upswing in trade. And I still believe that we are going to see an upswing in trade in 2022 and the beginning of 2023. So I still think there's going to be opportunities. So I think it's vital that we're there to also enhance the opportunities so our clients can capture that upswing in trade. I think our products also changed a lot in the last probably 5-6 years. I think originally people maybe used our product more for bad debt protection and slightly growth, but now I'm seeing a big trend to use our product for finance. So again, we can help them reduce their lending, increase their sales, as well as offer insurance as a service. So I see us much more engaged now with our clients.
And that's also a very interesting question. How do you see the change in the mix of the clients? Because there was a period when the credit insurance was mainly bought by corporates. Since this, there was a lot of use by financial institutions, a lot of use within the fintech area, a lot of use within all the different segments that previously were, like, 30 years ago, were not viewed as a customer base. How do you see this evolving?
Essentially, when you see a lot of the market talking about how we can help SMEs and how we can help competitors, but when you actually look at the figures, the real growth has actually been at the multinational segment, and particularly, even when we look at the banks who are coming to fund the business, there's really been a growth at the multinational segment. And I think they're trying to address that now with technology. You see a number of new online players coming to the market to try and make credit insurance simpler, more cost effective. But in terms of insurance companies insuring directly, as I said, I think the growth has been really at the global clients, multinational clients. And again, I think we need to look back at SMEs and how do we focus on SMEs? How do we get our product across to them simpler, quicker, faster, more cost effective for them as well, and really working how they work as well. So much more, as I said, how engaging with them. And often when you're dealing with an SME, you don't have a dedicated credit manager, you don't have a dedicated individual looking after credit insurance. So how do we make sure our product is really quick, easy, and fast for them? And that's what I think we've got to focus on going forward. And at the end of the day, SME is the foundation of our economy. So the more we can do for those SMEs, the better.
And then we talk a little bit about customers. There are also very different perceptions of credit insurance on market. So somewhere in Europe, it's considered to be almost like must-have, and a very large portion of the companies will use it. Often say in North America, it's not so. Even if you look at the multinationals, and we both have experience, working with multinationals, very often you see the people in charge of Europe saying that's essential, that's something we definitely must have. And you will get people in other regions much more skeptical, saying, oh, this only need to be used if you don't have a competent credit manager position. That I disagree completely with myself, but that's a perception. Or people generally use it much less frequently. What are you doing to address it, and how can you build growth in a market when credit insurance is less accepted today that you would like to?
Yeah, look, having worked in many regions in the world, I have definitely seen a cultural difference in the way people buy insurance. We see in Asia, some cultures tend to very much a very conservative approach and tend to like buying insurance, and maybe that's a cultural aspect. And then you see it. I mean, I look at, you compare Spain, which I think has the largest penetration of any market of credit insurance. It's more than 5 times that of America's, and significantly higher than even France and Germany, where again, credit insurance is a significant player. So I think there's cultural differences, but I also think you need to look at the product, and you need to account for that in the product. So we know, for example, in America's, the XOL non-can is much more preferred product. And I think as credit insurers, we needed to act and really suit our product for the market. Eulaham's launched a non-can XOL offering probably 10 years ago, and now we're one of the leaders in that segment. But we had to make an investment, in people, and look at the way we underwrite in that approach. So I think it's easy to blame it on the cultural aspects, but we also need to look at our products and see how we can adapt our products to the given market. And again, in certain markets, it's highly SME penetration. And again, the SME product maybe is different to a product for mid-core, large core. And certainly at Allianz Trade, we're looking at how we can segment our products and give the right product for the right market rather than the same product for all markets.
And if you look at the recent events, again, one event that brought a lot of attention to credit insurance market overall for wrong reasons was the Greensill crisis, when obviously there was a lot of discussions about the impact of credit insurance, a lot of discussion about potential claims. Do you see the impact on perception of the product, or generally it's viewed as something localized and not affecting, some niche insurers that were involved, and not something really impacting major players?
What was pleasing during the last pandemic is the way we as an industry came together to really explain our products to the regulators, to the associations, and really explain what credit insurance is. And I think maybe that's something we need to focus on. I know, for example, banking have much more direct dialogue with the regulators. And I think we need to have that. And I think there was important links made with a number of trade associations, important links made with governments. And I actually think the way we came together with governments was really pleasing. So as a product, I think we need to explain it. I think we've made a big investment in explaining it to banks. We've made a big investment in explaining it to our insurance market. But we also need to look at trade associations. We need to look at governments and really explain how credit insurance, is the oils of industry, and it does work and it does pay, and we need to keep it going. And so I think we're seeing now that as we come out of the pandemic, those relationships will be maintained, and we need to keep that so that we're in the focus and our product is there and supported by regulators.
And then another area that is a lot in discussion is the role of technology, because obviously a lot of areas of the market, starting from the way the product is distributed, how it's underwritten, how the fraud management is done, a lot of partnerships, a lot of cooperation. Where do you see Euler in all of this, and what are your priorities in terms of adapting to the new technology?
Yeah, well, firstly, we definitely see more business going into e-commerce now, and we're seeing it now. Particularly you see a lot of clients who talk about having an omni-channel experience across their business, and then they get to the payment side of it, and this is where we tend to get involved. But maybe sometimes they look at it too late, and I would urge a customer, if you're looking at moving to omni-channel and you move to e-commerce, you should start with the payment side of the business and start with the credit side of the business. you're right, we see a lot of entrants in the market, in the buy now, pay later market or e-commerce market. You see a number of fintechs. Some of them are platforms, some of them are brokers, some of them want to be insurers as well. I think it's slightly different in risk. I think you really summed it up. For me, it's not just credit risk. The real risk is the KYC, the ID fraud risk. And I always see it as bringing all those together at the checkout. And certainly Euler Hermes is a driver in this field. We have a team, a transformation team who are working with key partners who are going to lead in this field. And we're looking at how we can put our services there, whether that be helping with the KYC, helping with insurance, collections, bringing together all the tools that need to really go at the checkout to make it work. And it's a fascinating area of our business. It's one of our pillars. How do we help customers move to the digital trade? I see different demands. I think you'll have different demands from platforms. I think also customers will come to us and customers will say, look, we want to, we're a large player and we may go to a platform, but at the same time, we may create our own platform. And can you, with your partners and your customers, can you bring your services to that platform? So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about this development. I see it being a big area where Euler Hermes will lead. And certainly today I see us market leader in pushing our services to at checkout. That's what I like to think of it, all the services at the checkout.
And I think one of the major advantages you have comparing with many competitors is you have a really diverse group behind you that, because obviously the credit and what traditional was done by credit insurance only part of the risk management. And within a group, you have ability to manage many other risks and even finance and other things. Do you see a lot of synergies coming?
Yeah, I mean, look, firstly, a lot of our clients deal with us online and we do give a lot of instant credit out. So actually we have a lot of the building blocks there. I'd like to say that I was saying to someone the other day, we are going to be pulled into this space because our clients are in that space and they're pulling us in because we have those services. But as I said, it's about bringing it all together at the checkout, and whether that be with a e-partner, a platform, or as I said, even with a large client saying, look, I'm looking at an omni-channel experience. How do I deal with the B2B payout? There must be an alternative to the credit card, which I think is something that's evolved, or the trade credit card. What is the alternative? And as Allianz Trade, they should come to us first. And as I said, we have a dedicated team looking at solutions. And I hopefully watch this space. We'll share some with you in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much. It was really great talking to you as always, and wishing you absolutely best in making sure a lot of your plans will get executed.
Yep, we'll have fun doing it, Igor, and thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. We'll see each other in May on the RFIX.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to London, and it's good to be back out in the market now. I do think one thing we've missed, the personal interaction. We talk about online, but that personal interaction is a must in our business, and
absolutely.
I can't wait to see everyone in London.